boys and girls. This is Mrs. Ang again, and I have another book talk for grades 1 to 4. Today's book talk is about Ivan, the shopping mall gorilla. I'm going to read the story of his life, the true story of his life. It's called Ivan, the Remarkable True Story of the Shopping Mall Gorilla. It's by Katherine Applegate, and it is published by Clarion Books. And it was published in 2014, 2 years after Ivan passed away. And Katherine Applegate dedicated the book to all those who loved Ivan. It's the story about how Ivan started. In leafy calm and gentle arms, a gorilla's life began. The baby was born in a tropical forest in Central Africa. He was part of a large family of western lowland gorillas. The troop included babies, juveniles, females, and a male leader, the silverback. The more the baby gorilla grew, the more he played. The more he played, the more he learned. He rode on his mother's back. He listened to the hoots and grunts and chest beats of his father. He watched the older gorilla, clever and quick, as they wrestled and chased and swung from vines to vines. He did not learn about humans until it was too late. Poachers with loaded guns and cruel hands stole the little gorilla and another baby gorilla. After thousands of miles and endless days in the black, damp crate, at last came light and fresh air, and here he was as a baby being transported. The jungle green with life was gone. The gorilla had traveled halfway around the world to Tacoma, Washington. A man who owned a shopping mall had ordered and paid for them like a couple of pizzas, like a pair of shoes. He's still in the box right here, being unloaded at the mall. People cooed and laughed and held the babies. They dressed them in human clothes and fed them human food. The shopping mall owner ran a Name the Babies contest, and the winning names were Burma and Ivan. One dark day, soon after the babies arrived in this strange new world, Burma died. Without her, Ivan was all alone with too much left to learn. While he was little, Ivan was cute and cuddly. For 3 years, he lived in a house like a human child. He slept in a bed. He went to a baseball game with his owner. He held babies and rode on a motorcycle. He had to learn many things gorillas did not learn in the wild. The one thing he didn't need to learn was how to eat. And the more he ate, the more he grew. And the more he grew, the less he could live a human life in a human home. He had become too big. A cage in the mall became Ivan's new home. There wasn't much to do. There was a TV there. Sometimes Ivan watched TV. Sometimes he played with an old tire. Sometimes he finger painted, signing the papers with his thumbprint. Mostly, he watched the humans watching him through the glass enclosure. Ivan was about 13 when his coat began to shimmer with silvery white hair. He'd grown into a silverback gorilla. In the jungle, he would have been ready to protect his family. But at the mall, he had no family to protect, only himself. Year after year passed. People began to grow angry about Ivan's lonely life. Children and adults wrote letters and signed petitions and held protests. Ivan lived in his cage without the company of other gorillas for 27 years before he was sent on another journey. This time, the hands handling him were gentle. Zoo Atlanta wasn't a jungle. It was a place with walls. Still, the breeze carried jungle sounds and scents. Scientists who understood the needs of gorilla helped Ivan adjust slowly, carefully, gently to his new life. Finally, it was time. Was Ivan ready? Cameras clicked, reporters watched. When Ivan stepped onto the cool green grass, the sunlight gleaming on his silver hair, people cheered and laughed and wept with joy. Ivan, the shopping mall gorilla, was in a place with trees and grass and other gorillas at last. In leafy calm and gentle arms, a gorilla's life began again. Katherine Applegate was inspired to write about Ivan after reading about how the silverback gorilla had been living for 27 years in the circus-themed mall. She received a Newbery Award for her fiction novel about Ivan, published by HarperCollins. We have the hardcover book, but today I brought the new paperback book, which was recently released. And there are other books that have been written now about Ivan. One of them is a picture book called The One and Only Ivan, Draw Me a Story. It's a very cute book about how he draws different kinds of pictures. And there is an I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that the Draw Me a Story is by Beth Ferry, and it is published by Disney Press. The I Can Read book is a little reader by Colin Hostin, which is published by HarperCollins. A sequel to the Ivan story, titled The One and Only Bob, about a stray dog who became Ivan's friend after he sneaked into Ivan's mall cage through a hole in the corner. It is also by Katherine Applegate and published by HarperCollins. It was recently published. This story focuses on Bob's search for his sister and brother in the midst of a tornado. Ivan's story has been made into a movie starring Angelina Jolie and is scheduled to be released on August 14th. So watch for that to come out. Boys and girls, this is the last summer book talk for grades 1 to 4. Keep watching us on Instagram and Facebook to follow the library's activities in the fall. Just a reminder that the branch and main library are now open regular hours and on Saturday and Sunday for you and your family to come in and check out our books.